Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to Easy Mathematics. We thank God for another day. Today, we want to start with a new strand number, which is number 1, numbers, and substrand 3. We want to start with fractions, decimals, and percentages. But we want to recall our minds on things we were taught back in Basic 6. We want to recall on certain things. So we want to start with the equivalent fractions. Now, when we were in primary 6, we were taught how to find equivalent fractions. And when we say equivalent fractions, they are simply fractions that are equal or they are the same. So when you take the first question, you have to find 3 fractions that are equivalent to 3 over 5. 3 fractions that are equivalent. It means we are coming to find 3 fractions that are equal to 3 over 5. So how can we solve this question? So to find fractions that are equivalent to this fraction, we are going to pick the fraction given, which is 3 over 5. Now, to find fractions that are equivalent to this, we are going to select 3 numbers because we have to find 3. So we are going to select 3 numbers and multiply that number, each of the numbers, by this. So let's say we want to pick 2. You can pick any number apart from 0 and 1. So I want to use 2 to multiply. So this being the fraction given, I want to multiply this by 2. I am finding for the equivalent fraction. So you multiply the numerator by the selected number. I have selected 2. So you multiply this times 2 and also multiply this by 2. So what is going to be our answer? 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 2 is also 10. So I have one fraction which is equivalent to this. Then I'll find again another one because I'm to find 3. So I'll take the same number, 3 over 5. Then this time I've already chosen 2. So you choose any number of your choice. So I want to pick 3. So multiply the numerator by 3 and also multiply the denominator by 3. So the number that you choose, you multiply by both. Or you use it to multiply the numerator and the denominator. So now, 3 times 3 is going to give me 9. Over 5 times 3 is going to give me 15. I'm to find 3 fractions that are equivalent to this. So if I have 1, I have 2, then I'm left with 3 numbers. I'm left with 1, sorry. So I'll pick the same 3 over 5. Then multiply the 3 over 5 by any number of your choice. So let's say this time I want to pick 10. If you select 10, you multiply the numerator by 10, then also multiply the denominator by 10. So I'm going to say this times 10, this times 10, which is equal to 3 times 10 is 30. 5 times 10 is 50. So I'm to find 3 numbers. So then 3 fractions. So the fractions that are equivalent to 3 over 5 are this, this, and this. So I'll state my answer and say, therefore, 6 over 10, 9 over 15, and 30 over 50 are equivalent to 3 over 5, which means these 3 fractions are equal to, because when we say equivalent, it means equal to. So this is how we find or we calculate for finding fractions that are equivalent. You can choose any number of your choice apart from 0 and 1. So if your multiplication is good, you can use 12. You can use 18, you can use 20, you can use 5, you can use 6, any number. You just multiply it with the given fraction You use the same number to multiply the numerator, the same number to multiply the denominator, then you get your equivalent fraction. So what it means is that 6 over 10 is the same as 3 over 5. If I'm simplifying this, I'm going to get this. And that is how we find an equivalent fractions, or fractions that are equivalent to another fraction. We are just revising before we look at the topic another day. Now we want to look at the next one, writing of fraction in its simplest form or lowest term. Now when we say write a fraction in its simplest or lowest term or form, then they are asking us to break the fraction down, if only there are numbers that can divide. So we have here, simplify the following fractions. I have 12 over 15. Ask yourself, if I'm to simplify 12 over 15, what does it mean? It means take it to the lowest form where we cannot simplify anymore. So I have 12 over 15. Ask yourself, which number can divide 12 and that same number will divide 15? Let's use 2. 2 can divide 12, but 2 cannot divide 15. So we will not go for 2. Let's use 3. Can 3 divide 15? Yes. Can this same 3 divide 12? Yes. Then we will use the 3 to simplify or divide. So ask yourself, how many times will 3 go into 12? By saying 3 times what will give you 12? If you recite your 3 multiples, you will notice that 3 times 4 is 12. It means 3 will go into 12 4 times. Then this same 3 that we use to divide the 12, how many times will 3 divide the 15? So I'm going to ask again. 3 times what will give me 15? 3 times 5 is 15. It means 3 will go into 15 3 will go into 15 5 times. So 12 over 15 in its lowest term is going to give me 4 over 5. Now with this, I cannot simplify again. I have broken it down to the extent that there is no number that can go into 4 and go into 5 except 1. And this is the simplifying of fraction to its lowest form or simplest form. Now we have the last one here, 40 over 100. How can I divide this one? Now anytime you divide and you notice there is a 0 at the end of the figures, we can say the 0 can cancel out. How many zeros are here? 1. How many zeros? 2. So it means 1 0 here will cancel the other 0 there. So this 0 will cancel this 0. Now we are left with 4 over 10. Now what can go into 4 and also go into 10? We can use 2. How many times will 2 go into 4? 2 times, because 2 times 2 is 4. And how many times will 2 go into 10? 5 times, because 2, 5, 10. So I'll say 2 into 4, 2 times, and 2 into 10, 5 times. So 40 over 100 in its lowest form is 2 over 5. And there is nothing I can do about this. So I'll leave my answer like this. And when we were in class 6, we were told that this type of fraction is called proper fraction because the numerator is less than the denominator. Let's look at the last one as we are recalling or we are trying to revise what we did in basic 6, because in basic 7 we have to recall what we did. Now we have here changing fractions from mixed fraction to improper. Now we are to look at how we can change mixed fractions into improper fraction. Now to change mixed fractions into improper fraction, we have to know the whole number part, the numerator and the denominator. So if I take this fraction, for example, this is 8 whole number 3 over 5. So this is the whole number, this is the numerator, and this is the denominator. So how can I change a mixed fraction into improper fraction? To do that, locate your whole number and the denominator. So the whole number is 8 and the denominator is 5. If you are able to locate the whole number and the denominator, multiply the two numbers. So whole number is 8, denominator is 5. So I'm going to say 8 times 5. Now if you multiply 8 times 5, what are we going to get? We are going to get 40. Multiplying this times this is going to give you 40. So we multiply the whole number times the denominator. Now you ask yourself, what is the numerator there? The numerator is the 3. Because when you have a fraction, the one on top is the numerator and the one below is the denominator. So you first multiply the whole number times the denominator. Then you add the numerator to the result. What did we get? We had 40. So add the numerator, which is 3, to your result. And this is going to give us 43. So to write this in improper fraction, we are going to say our answer is equal to, what did you get? We had 43. Then you divide it by the numerator here, 5. So this is the improper fraction for 8 whole number 3 over 5. And this is how we convert fractions which are mixed into fractions which are improper. Let's look at the last one. The same thing here. Locate the whole number and the denominator. The whole number is 2 and the denominator is 8. So multiply these two. So we are going to say 2, which is the whole number, times 8, which is the denominator. So 2 times 8 is going to give us 16. 2 times 8 is going to give us 16. So if you multiply the whole number times the denominator, then you go for the numerator. Then you add it to the result. What is the numerator? 1. So add the numerator to your result. So we are going to say plus 1 because the numerator is 1. So 16 plus 1 is going to give us 17. So after doing everything, what did we get? We had 17. Then you divide the 17 by the numerator here. What is the, by the denominator. And what is the denominator? 8. So we divide by 8. And this is 17 over 8. And this fraction is improper because the numerator is greater than the denominator. Like a little girl carrying a fat woman. So we say it is improper fraction. Now let's look at the vice versa of this, where we'll be giving the improper, then we change to mix. So it says change the fractions below into mixed fractions, which means we have been given improper, then we'll change it into mix. If we are able to change mix into improper, then we can also change improper into mix. We are just recalling on what we've been taught in class 6. So, how can I change this into mixed fraction? The numerator, that is the number on top, is 8, and the denominator is 5, which means this is greater than this value. So you ask yourself, how many times will the denominator go into the numerator? You have 5 as your denominator. How many times will 5 go into 8? If you recite your times table, you notice that 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. It means 5 will go into 8 once. And how many remainder will be left? If 5 goes into 8 once, you will notice that we have 3 as a remainder. So we having 3 as a remainder, then we say it is out of 5. And this is giving us one whole number, 3 over 5. If you try to use what we did here to change this into improper, you will notice that we are correct here. And that's how we change from improper to mix. We do the same thing here. How can we change this into mix? What is the denominator? 2. And the 2 is carrying a huge or a greater number. So therefore, we are going to say this is an improper fraction. So how many times would the denominator, which is 2, divide the numerator 13? Or how many times will it go into 13? If you recite your 2 times table, you will notice that 2 times 6 is 12. So it means 2 will go into 13 6 times. So you write it down. 2 will go into 13 6 times. And how many do we have left? We have 1, because when 2 goes into 13 6 times, you have 1 as a remainder, which is going to give you 1 out of 2, which is this. And this is how we convert fractions, that is mixed into improper and improper into mixed. Thank you for staying tuned. This is just a recall on what we did in Basic 6. When God permits and we meet again, we'll look at how to convert fractions, that's common fraction, into decimals, common fraction into percentages, decimals into percentages, and also in common fraction. Stay tuned as we give you more, God willing, next time when we meet. Don't forget to hit the subscription button as you'll be notified anytime a video has been released. God bless you for watching. Bye-bye.